Hello and salut and quoi de neuf and coucou, and people are already ducking out of the way. Welcome everybody. It's 5 p.m. in Paris on a Saturday afternoon, and that can mean only one thing. It's time for a virtual walk through the city. I've got my first live viewers, so hello, welcome to you all. Here we go. This is episode 11, and as I wait for some of you to join me, we are in the Marais today. It's a neighborhood that I absolutely adore, and when I'm off duty and not tour guiding, you will definitely find me in this area most often than not. We've got a couple of rather lost tourists there. We don't have time to help them today, otherwise I would, but here we go. We're along the Seine River. Let me pan a little bit here, away from the Louis Philippe, which I'll tell you about in a second. You can actually catch a glimpse of Notre Dame Cathedral, which is always worth a good look. Hello, Ellen. Hello, Nicole. My family's already here. My wife is here. Charlotte, hello. A lot of you on my Patreon page know Charlotte a little bit better now that you've heard our love story. So here we are in the Marais today, episode 11. Can't wait to get started. I got some real fun addresses to show you today, starting with this 19th century cafe called Le Louis Philippe. In the 1800s, they built this cafe. He just said cuckoo. He said hello. Now, here we go. Louis Philippe. Beautiful cafe in the old style. It's been here since the 19th century. Coffee is so-so. I find that their cappuccinos actually come with whipped cream, which is a little odd, but it's got some great history here, which Ernest Hemingway used to hang out at the Louis Philippe. Also inside, they've got a staircase, a spiral staircase that was created in Gustave Eiffel's workshop, which is pretty fantastic. Also, some movies were filmed here, notably Roman Polanski's Ninth Gate, The Ninth Gate with Johnny Depp. So Johnny Depp did a little bit of filming in there, and if I have any Gossip Girl fans out there, the show Gossip Girl, they filmed a couple of scenes there as well at Louis Philippe. Now, as if that's not pretty enough, if we pan around, we see one of my favorite streets ever, the Rue De Ba, with the Church of Saint-Gervais. Beautiful medieval street. Let me get you there. Hello, Laura. Hello, Joanne. Hello, Anne. We're in the Marais today. I know a lot of you are excited. I'm really excited. I'm feeling good. The weather is holding out for now, even though the skies look ominous. So this is an old medieval street called the Rue Des Ba, and this is one of the highlights of my walking tour of the Marais. For those of you who are joining for the first time, I am a tour guide, and I'll introduce myself properly in a minute, but this is a street that I adore to take people through when I give them a tour of the Marais district. So Saint-Gervais Church. We're not going to go up this street today. I'm going to show you some other spots, but you can see on a Saturday, it's really lively here in this district. The weather is nice. It's about 52 Fahrenheit, 11 degrees centigrade. And then look at this place. It's called Chez Julien. And this is really a historic gem. It used to be two locations, actually, that are now combined. One of them was originally an inn and a wine cellar, a wine merchant. And it used to be called Aux Deux Pigeons, the two pigeons. And they've still got their two pigeons there, because what we're looking at here, this sort of iron gate, as it were, is original. So let me show you that. Whenever you see a gate like that, it's because there was a decree in the 1720s, a royal decree that said all wine merchants had to have a security system. So they had these iron bars that would keep people from reaching through the windows and stealing wine. I guess it was to combat public drunkenness and to promote a little bit of sobriety. But you can also see pine cones at the top. You see that? Anytime in Paris you see iron bars like this with pine cones on top, it's a symbol that they used to sell wine. And that's because when they would sell wine in the large casks, in the large wooden barrels, they would actually seal them with pine pitch. So whenever you see a pine cone, that means they were using pine pitch to seal their wine barrels. So that was part of what Chez Julien is today. And the other side was a bakery. So you can see all the lovely locals out here doing their thing. This is a fantastic restaurant, Chez Julien, especially for breakfast. I've heard great things about the breakfast here. So on this side, if I back up a little bit, this is a former boulangerie. It was a bakery. And so bakeries back in the day, they would put these beautiful panels, hand-painted panels. Here you can see that they were once selling French breads and Viennese-style breads. And then, let's see if we can get a good look here. Do you see those painted ceilings? Hand-painted ceilings from the 19th century? Because that was a bakery, and that's what bakeries did. Now, I want you to keep that in mind, because I'm going to show you another bakery in the Marais that's one of my absolute favorites. And it has a similar decor that we can actually see a little more up close. So that's called Chez Julien, right at the bottom of the Marais district along the Seine River. We pan up, we've got another panel here from the 1800s, croissant and brioche, just so you knew exactly what they were selling. And now it is a lovely, pretty classy restaurant. So we're on the Rue Pont Louis Philippe, Rue du Pont Louis Philippe, rather. Anyway, you get the gist. And this is a nice street I like, as we have the Seine at our back, because this street is actually, from what I understand, there was actually a law put in place on this street, the Rue du Pont Louis Philippe, that all the shops had to sell authentic items, artisanal items, and artistic items. So for that reason, I always find that the shopping is really great. In fact, let me cross over and show you. We got some art galleries. Wait for the motorcycle to pass. Ah, Natalie Manning's in the house. Fantastic. So this is an art gallery here. We're in the Marais, if you're just joining us. Already over 200 people. That's fantastic. You can see this says paintings and frames. So even though it's a rather modern-looking gallery, they've got some old signage and the old half-timber wall in the inside. So, onward. We're at number 8 of the Rue du Pont Louis Philippe. And I gotta show you something really funny here. Let me back up. You know there are often historical plaques. We're at number 8 here. Historical plaques that will tell you something notable that happened, a historical character or an event that took place. Well, this is fantastic, and I don't think too many people notice this. There's a handwritten sign that someone put up there, and it simply says, in this building in 1991, a man literally died of boredom in front of his TV set. And there's a name there, I guess, an Instagram name or something, but that's pretty hilarious. So someone decided to kind of play a playful take on the idea of the historical plaque. So a man literally died of boredom in front of his TV. Hello, Patty. Moving our way down the street. Let me see what I can find in some shop windows for you. A lot of good window licking, so to speak. Give those little moments. Also, I want to give you a view to the right of me. Looking back toward where we started, across the Seine. Can you make it out there? That's the Pantheon, the dome all the way in the distance there. Straight ahead, the Pantheon, the great mausoleum, where they bury all their favorite Frenchmen and occasionally a woman. Again, I'm pretty confident I'm going to make it into the Pantheon one day. If I can just bang out a few more of these videos, keep the quality up. Got to show you this spot here. The sidewalks are busy today. You want to note also, you ladies in particular, it's called Mi Amor, my love in Italian. I assume that's what that means. So this is great for accessories. I don't want to bother the shop owner, but do you see that? Hats, scarves, handbags, all kinds of loveliness. So that's called Mi Amor on the Rue du Pont Louis Philippe, and you definitely want to keep that in mind. Oop. I hit the window as I usually do. And onward. Ah, Missy Lamb. Superfan Missy Lamb is in the house now. This video feels complete. For those of you who don't know me, if this is your first time, my name's Corey Fry. I call myself a French fry in Paris. It's a clever little play on words, at least I thought so many years ago when I moved here. And I'm a full-time tour guide in Paris. I am a photographer and a videographer, I guess, nowadays. If you're interested in this, I do this every single week, so all the descriptions are down below. And today we're in the Marais district, which is one of my all-time favorites. I think the Marais gives the best sort of slice or cross-section of everything that's great about Parisian life. So let's flip you back around, and I've got some more addresses to show you. I notice when I watch these replays that I always sing just a little bit of a da-da-da-da-da to sort of fill in the space, I guess, between addresses. A little look in front of the shop. At the end of the street, I want to show you a couple of addresses here on the Rue du Pont Louis Philippe. This is a Mexican place, actually, called La Perla. Now, do you come for Paris thinking to eat Mexican food? Well, I say yes, because La Perla is a fantastic local address. They have literally a lunch menu that's less than 10 euros. And you get not only an entree and a main course, but you get coffee at the end, and you also get an appetizer of chips and salsa. So really good Mexican food, authentic guys inside doing their thing. For under 10 euros, usually that's a big red flag in Paris. If you see a lunch menu for that cheap, but I can tell you here is a really great place to grab some good Mexican. And then, after you're done with the Mexican, you definitely want to have dessert right here. This is a place, there are a few locations in Paris. It's called Au Merveilleux de Fred. Au Merveilleux de Fred. They've got a beautiful chandelier inside there. And I'm going to scroll down because what they do is these. They're called les merveilleux. They are essentially meringues with buttercream, sweet buttercream slathered, and then they're rolled in various goodies. So it could be flakes of chocolate, could be white chocolate, whatever's going on here. So they're called les merveilleux, and they have these wonderful fancy names. One of them is called the incredible. One of them is called the unthinkable. One of them is called the magnificent. And then one of them, actually, this one here, the white one, is called the sans-culotte. And that's funny because during the French Revolution, the sans-culotte were the people of Paris that refused to wear tights. So they were without tights, or sans-culotte. So I don't know why this one is named after those people without tights, the revolutionaries of Paris. But I assume if you eat enough of those bad boys with all the heavy cream, you're probably going to have to take off your tights anyway. So that's a pretty fitting name. So again, this location is called Au Merveilleux de Fred. And the guy's name is Frédéric, and he has devoted his life not only to meringues, which we just saw, but also brioche. Look at that. Actually, how about that for a little bit of Paris meditation? Some brioche and a chandelier. There's a lovely lady picking them up. So you definitely want to check that out. Let me show you the big ones. Can you make that out? So if you really want to have a party, you can go wild. No one's going to kick you out of their dinner party if you show up with one of those babies. Again, it's meringue with a lot of sweet butter, cream, and chocolate bits and things like that. Here we go. It's starting to rain a little bit. Now we're on a street called the Rue François Miron. And here is something that you do not want to miss in the Marais. These are some beautiful half-timber homes, or Tudor-style homes, from the 15th century, they believe. That's what the historians think. Imagine that. And all of Paris used to be like this. All of Paris used to be like this. These beautiful oak timber homes filled in with mortar and plaster. And that was the architecture of the day. We'll see those again as we pop back in a few minutes. We'll pop back over in this area. So again, the Rue François Miron. We're heading east now. I don't know if you can make it out, but the sky is starting to get pretty dark gray. And it's already rained on me a couple of times today, so we'll see how long we can stay dry. Hello, everybody. Sorry for the technical difficulties earlier. Get kicked off. Hello, Marianne, Missy. I love to see all these names, all of these familiar people who come week after week after week and give me all that great support. So we talked a little bit about the 19th century style of bakery, and there's one that is hands down my favorite bakery in the Marais today, called Le Petit Versailles, the Little Versailles. So I'm going to take you over there a little closer. This is definitely, when I give people my tour of the Marais and we walk through together, this is definitely one of the stops. So you can see the signage right there. Look at that. We're gonna hold, let's see, I'll give you the composition right about there. Au Petit Versailles du Marais, the Little Versailles. Now, of course, Versailles is that famous royal palace outside of the city. And it's a pretty fitting name because, first of all, we're talking the 1860s. For you Americans out there, this is literally the time that we're headed into the Civil War and Abraham Lincoln is president. But instead of having a civil war in Paris, they were building these beautiful bakeries. And so original panels, 2 out of 8 original panels. This lady doing her thing in the fields here, and then over here, a gentleman as well. Now, it made sense for bakeries to put their locations at the corner because essentially you get twice the facade. And that would be a great way for displaying the artistry of panels like this and also your wares, your bakery items in the window. So you often will find bakeries placed on corners in the 19th century. Now there's a little bit of space inside. You got to check this out. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Now first, before we even look at the food, I've got to show you these ceilings. So it's the mid-1800s. One of the finest interior decorators came in, and he was hired to do these hand-painted panels. You can see birds, you can see all these various motifs and little vignettes of sort of a little farm with a windmill, or rather a water mill. And I just want to give you a view of that. This has got to be one of the prettiest bakeries in the Marais. if not in all of Paris. And they got the chandelier to boot. And all of the molded stucco. Look at that. Let me just give you that for 1 second. Oh, it's so good. Hi Tara, I'm glad you're enjoying this. Now, let's get to the food. Now, it's Saturday, and the locals have already tore through this place. So it's a little light on the goodies. But here we've got some full-size macarons. You know, macarons don't just come in those bite-size forms. You can definitely get the sort of the meal version, the family size. And they've got some pretty classic eclairs. People will get on the metro train and they'll actually come, you know, from far away just to see this place. I just want to give you a view of the bread rack there. Bonjour. Look at that. Oh, it's stunning. Look at that old bread rack. Doesn't get any better than that. So this is called Au Petit Versailles. Carl, my brother, is asking a very good question. What are the tiles made of? This is actually glass. So what you do is you hand paint the glass and then you flip the glass panel over. So the painting is trapped and essentially protected underneath the glass. So pretty simple process. Oh, back out into the real world, back into the 21st century. And if I pan back around to the facade here, you'll see they are very happy to brag about their second place in the very prestigious Best Baguette of Paris contest. 2014, they got second place, and they're usually actually quite high in the standings every single year. So this place knows what they're doing. Alrighty, here we go. Let's see, which way are we going to go? We're going to go this way. Bye Bye Bakery. It's fully raining now, folks. Let me say hello to you again. Hi, everybody. Again, I just want to introduce myself one more time in case people don't know who I am. I'm a tour guide here in Paris, an American in Paris. Been here 8 years. Full-time tour guide and photographer. And what else do I do? Writer, I guess, yeah. And I make these videos every single week, every Saturday usually, to give you a vicarious walk through the city. So the idea is if you can't bring yourself to Paris, I'm going to bring Paris to you. We're the first ones to ever try this, and this is the 11th episode of the series. And so far we've got a nice little community going. I'm very happy. I'm wearing my scarf from Sheila Miner. Sheila, if you're out there, thanks for this lovely cashmere scarf. This is the second time I've worn one on these videos. One more look at these gorgeous half-timber homes. People are living up there now, again from the 15th century. And you're allowed to modernize the interiors of the apartments, but not, of course, the facades, because those are protected historical monuments. Now, I got to point this out because there's a certain group of adults that like to do various things at night. And here, again, kids are watching. There is a lovely couple about to smooch. And I'm just going to keep it very vague and say that downstairs here there are nice red velvet sofas and candlelight and various things happen there on various evenings. And that's all I'm going to say. You can Google it if you need to. Here we go, further into the Marais. Thanks everybody for catching up. Sorry I got kicked off earlier. I guess this video will be in 2 parts. Let's see what people... Hello, Catherine. Good morning. Let me show you, spin around here and show you this medieval street with these buildings. Just one last look like this. So again, it's raining now. Now, even though my equipment's getting wet, and I'm certainly getting wet, what we do get is that nice sheen off the cobblestones. Look at that. Good stuff. A little bit of street art there as well. And here's a lovely lady who's smiling. Seems to be happy enough to be part of our broadcast today. And there you go, the glisten of the Paris rain off the cobblestones. Pretty good stuff. Okay, let's continue. A little bit of construction going on here. Now we're on the very popular Rue De Rivoli. You always make me laugh, Missy. Oh, look, we've got some blue sky. Maybe it won't rain on us after all, although it is technically raining on me right now. So I know a lot of you watching are Patreon members, but for those who aren't aware, I've got a way for you to get special Paris content. So if you find the link in the description of this video, you go to patreon.com, and I've got a page there where you can get all kinds of great exclusive stuff like PDF maps of all of my walks and photos and videos that I don't post anywhere else. And you can get discounts on my actual tours. If you're coming to Paris, you definitely want to sign up and get a nice fat discount on my real life tours, because I do that pretty much every day. We're in the Marais. We're on a street that I love called the Rue Vieille du Temple, which means the old street of the temple. You'll actually see a lot of street signs and squares named after temples. Look at that. Oh, that's a beauty. A little bit of meditation just for a second here. I'm going to interrupt myself for this. Good stuff. If you've ever heard of the Knights Templar, that medieval order of warrior monks, they actually found the Holy Grail, according to legend, and were extremely wealthy Frenchmen because of it. Well, they built a huge complex here, and so they were called the Templiers, the Templars. So a lot of the word temple everywhere around here has nothing to do with the fact that the Jewish quarter's nearby or anything like that. It's because of the Knights Templar. Who knows, maybe the Holy Grail is here, maybe we'll find it today. I'll give you all a cut, I promise, if we find it today. This is called Le Pic Clops. Very, very hip and local spot. This is a place to be for sure, watch the world go by. What I find here is great for lunch are real classics like croque monsieur and quiche and salads and even burgers. So that's called Le Pic Clops. Or the Pic Clops, sorry. And then I want to show you this facade here. Let me cross over. This is a great leftover from the 19th century here, and it's considered one of the great historic facades of the Marais. You know, in the 1800s, it was actually even going back further, it was considered unthinkable to eat horse meat. It was actually quite disgusting and immoral, and it was banned by the church and by the king for a long, long time. Then in the early 1800s, they said, wow, we really need to feed our prisoners and sort of the super, super poor on the fringe of French society. So they allowed those people to eat horse. And then eventually, the rest of society was convinced, and they made it by decree, they made it by law actually legal to eat horse meat. And as long as the shops followed strict rules and everything was regulated, and as long as they were very clearly designated, right? Which this one certainly is. Look at it, that's all mosaic, by the way. Gorgeous. So now they're selling, what, socks and shoes and things, but it used to come here to get horse meat. And let me tell you, in the 1860s when they made it legal, it's a good thing they did, because soon the Prussians are going to come in, there's going to be a famine in Paris, and people are going to end up eating every single horse in Paris, 65,000 of them. So in a way, I mean, too bad for the horses, but thank goodness that all of those selling points, those vendors were there, and the system was put in place. Sorry for you horse lovers out there, but hey, history's history. So here we're on the Rue Vieille du Temple. A really, really great spot. I'm going to give you the pan here. On a Saturday like this, even despite a bit of drizzle, everybody's here out and about. And I want to show you this place here that I just walked by, called Edouard, because for all you chocolate lovers out there, you really need to know about this place. It's called Edouard, if you can see it there. It's actually two very young chocolatiers, and it's the combination of their names. So Edwin and Arthur, Edouard, chocolatier. And it is really lovely what they're doing. Not only do they have these fun little sculptures out in the front, but what they do, you can see the chocolates, they combine Indian curry and cardamom and Japanese whiskey and cilantro and all kinds of lemon peel. And they're really good at what they do. And they have a spread. Let me see if they'll let me film it. Bonjour. Je peux filmer 2 secondes? Ça va? Just 2 secondes. So I want to show you guys. You all know Nutella, right? So, vous avez la noisette, la pâte à noisette? Okay, let me show you. Right here they have a hazelnut spread, which is essentially Nutella but on a real gourmet scale. So you definitely want to come to Edouard, and if you are a Nutella fan or if you've ever enjoyed Nutella, this will take it to a whole new level. So it's called Reminiscence. It's called Reminiscence because it reminds the owners, the creators of their own childhood. So this is called Edouard. Pound for pound, I really think they're doing great things with chocolate here, and this is a place that I like to frequent. Really nice decor there. Merci, au revoir. Let's continue through the Marais. I love this area. There's so much going on for food, so much going on for shopping. I'm going to show you my all-time favorite restaurant here in just a sec. Pop that into the notebooks. Again, people on Patreon, you'll get my PDF map of this in a day or two, so you'll know everywhere we stopped and why we stopped there. This door, a little bit of door action here. And those beautiful lions. I know my brother Carl happens to like the lions of Paris, so here we've got some winged beasts for my brother. This is a street called the Rue du Trésor, Treasure Street. And I've always quite liked this little dead-end lane. Check this out. It's called Treasure Street because in the 1800s they were excavating here to build a new apartment building, and they found an unexpected treasure. They found a huge copper vase from the 14th century, and it was packed full of royal gold coins. An immense sum of money and an incredible historical find. And so ever since that time, this has been called the Rue du Trésor, Treasure Street. The gold was sold off, and the copper vase was actually placed in the Carnavalet Museum, if any of you are aware of that Paris museum called the Carnavalet. Let's see, my mom's asking if we're having coffee in our favorite spot in the Marais. What spot would that be? Place des Vosges? We won't go to the Place des Vosges today. But I will tell you, this place right here is definitely a spot that you want to check out called Les Philosophes. Hands down, pound for pound, it's really the best restaurant in the Marais. Life-altering cheesecake is how I put it here. If you want to get the best cheesecake of your life, it's like a surreal experience. So definitely go to Les Philosophes, and you can see people are here. I don't know how many of these locals are eating cheesecake, but damn it, they should be. There's a real great cafe culture in this area. Again, for those joining us, we are in the Marais today. I can see the numbers ticking up, so we must be getting some new folks. The weather's nice. I also love this place. It's actually called the Little Horseshoe. And I think it's time for a bit of Paris meditation right about here. Boom. The Little Horseshoe. Perfect for people watching. And the bakery. And we're getting close to the Jewish Quarter, which I think we'll finish up in. It's one of those days where there's so many people on a warm Saturday. Again, it's 52 Fahrenheit or about 11 centigrade. People are just packing the streets. They don't even care if the cars are coming by. All right, so we're going to finish up here with this street called the Rue Des Rosiers. I know some of you right now who know Paris well are thinking, falafel, falafel, falafel. I don't think we're going to make it this far today. But on the Rue Des Rosiers, we are right in the heart of medieval Paris. So this is a street that is 900 or 1,000 years old. A little crepe stand here is doing a lot of great business today. Yeah. Crepes, crepes, crepes. But I just want to give you a view of this street here. Does it get more perfect than that? I mean, if you were creating a movie set and you literally had to create a fake old medieval street, you would create it like this. People are looking at me, they're laughing at that statement. What can I say? I'm completely smitten with these parts of Paris. You most of you know me by now. So we're in the Jewish Quarter technically now. They estimate about 10% of the Paris population is Jewish, so definitely a big, big fraction. And here is where you get a lot of Middle Eastern food, like best falafels, and you get a lot of great old-style Jewish bakeries. Now, coming from New York, I'm an old-time New Yorker, 10 years. I miss a good old-fashioned bagel sometimes, a good New York-style bagel. And I can get one here at this spot. So I can highly recommend this with a perfect Jewish name, Sasha Finkelstein. And look at that, it says from father to son since 1946, which means World War II wraps up in 45, and of course Paris was ravaged by the Nazi occupation and the deportations of the Jews. But then this family, father and son team, opened it up a year after, this bakery, and they're still going strong. Now, I'll show you what's going on here. Speaking of bagels, someone get me a tub of cream cheese because I'm just going to go nuts on that right now. latkes, borek. One of you Jewish folks are going to have to tell me what borek is exactly. And then what's lovely is if you stand here, it's got to be the best smelling spot in Paris because the bakery downstairs is just pumping out that air, all those smells from the bakery. Let me show you the other window, and then we'll wrap things up here soon. Again, it's really crowded here. Some challah bread, which Charlotte is very fond of. In fact, I'm going to buy Charlotte some of this challah bread. Oh. Having some technical difficulties here. There we go, sorry about that. And there we go. Oh. Perfection, right? People are actually looking at my screen right now from behind me instead of looking at the window display. All right, so Jewish area, a lot of good bakeries, a lot of good food going on. And let me show you one last spot. If you want the best macaron that is still handmade, you know, places like La Durée and Pierre Hermé, they're fantastic, we can all agree. But the truth is they're factory made. And so they're so mass produced now. And something about that is a little less charming, right? And so this place, Damiel, Jewish owned place, which is why it's closed on a Saturday, old school Orthodox Jewish owners. But the macarons here are really, they're still handmade and it's just such a rarity nowadays. So I would keep this place in mind, Damiel. Okay, everybody, I think we're about out of time here. It's starting to rain a little bit again on me. So I'm going to leave you with this right here. Now, I've got 330 of you here, and I want to remind those of you who don't know that I finish every walk with a cafe chat. So I'm going to find a spot to do a second broadcast from a cafe, and those of you who are members of my Patreon, as you know, each week we get to go and we have a private chat from the cafe, and we get to discuss the video walk, and I can answer any questions that you have about life in Paris, etc., and stuff like that. So if you're not a member of my Patreon, you can find the link down in the description, and you can be part of those private cafe chats, and you can get all kinds of great stuff as well, including a PDF map of this walk and all the previous ones. Look at that. I'm guessing you also want to look at the other end of the street. And there we go. So here we go. This is a beautiful street. That was the Rue Des Rosiers in the Jewish Quarter. So I want to thank everybody. I'm going to sign off here in a second. Again, all the descriptions you need if you want to book a tour with me in Paris or check out my blog. I got a lot of photography on my blog and my Instagram. All of that down below. You can just click those links, and this video will go up for replay immediately on my Facebook page. So join me here every week, 5 p.m. local time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the States. And I hope to see you soon for the next one. My Patreon people, we're going to have a private cafe chat. If I can manage to find a seat around here, it's very busy. And otherwise, I will see you all next week. Take care, everybody. If you can't come to Paris, I'm going to bring Paris to you. That's the idea here. I'll see you every week. And we'll walk through another great set of streets next time around. Bye-bye.